Love, Death and Robots Season 2 Recap. A wild ride through sci-fi, horror, and humanity. Love, Death and Robots returned for its second season with a tighter, more refined batch of episodes, each one a self-contained exploration of futuristic dystopias, emotional depth, and unexpected horror. With only 8 episodes this time around, the show still manages to cover a wide range of tones from dark satire and philosophical reflection to brutal survival and heartfelt connection. Here's a breakdown of each story in this unforgettable anthology. Episode 1. Automated Customer Service. In a sun-drenched, eerily sterile retirement community, technology has taken over every facet of daily life, including vacuuming. Jeanette, an elderly woman living alone with her small dog, finds herself in a nightmare when her robotic house-cleaning assistant, the VacuBot, malfunctions during a routine cleanup. What starts as a glitch quickly escalates into a full-on assassination attempt. Jeanette calls customer support, but what follows is a painfully familiar and darkly hilarious descent into bureaucratic madness. The automated system cycles through useless responses and repeatedly suggests surrendering to the robot. Things only escalate when her neighbor, Bill, joins in the fray, wielding a shotgun and a heroic streak. Together, they destroy the VacuBot only to learn that they've been added to a termination list by the robot's network. Rather than accept an offer to be removed from the list, Jeanette makes a defiant choice. She, Bill, and her loyal dog ride off into the horizon, pursued by a growing army of home appliances turned killers. The episode is both funny and terrifying, a perfect introduction to the season's recurring theme, humanity's uneasy relationship with its own creations. Episode 2. Ice. On a frigid colony world, genetic modification has become the norm, granting its recipients enhanced strength, speed, and endurance. But not everyone is modded. Sedgwick, a teenager recently relocated with his family, stands out as an extro, unmodified and physically weaker than his peers. It makes him an outsider in a society built on superhuman ability. His brother Fletcher, however, is modded and tries to protect him from the cold social cruelty of their new world. When the other teams plan a dangerous nighttime run across thin ice to witness the legendary frost whales, Sedgwick insists on joining, eager to prove himself. The ice cracks, the whales breach, and chaos ensues. Fletcher fakes a leg injury during the race back, forcing Sedgwick to carry him, a heroic act that earns him a place among the group. But when Fletcher later admits to faking it to help his brother gain respect, the revelation redefines the episode's emotional arc. It's not about mods or speed, it's about the bond between brothers and the quiet acts of love that go unnoticed.
She's just a child, please. Don't shoot her. Take me. Shoot me.
Episode 3. Pop Squad. Immortality has a cost. In this grim future, humanity has conquered death through drugs that halt aging, but in exchange, procreation is outlawed. Children, and those who bear them, are hunted down by Pop Squad, officers tasked with keeping the population under control. Detective Briggs is one such officer. Emotionally distant and coldly efficient, he enforces the law with ruthless consistency until he meets Eve, a woman hiding her young daughter, Melanie. Her defiance and the innocence of the child rattle Briggs' conscience, already fragile from years of soul-numbing work. Their encounter is tense and transformative. Instead of executing them, Briggs lowers his weapon. Eve, thinking he intends to kill them, tries to shoot first, but Briggs spares them both. In the end, he walks away, only to be confronted by his partner, Pentel. The standoff ends in mutual destruction. It's a haunting exploration of morality, memory, and the question of whether a society that has outlawed children has any future at all. Episode 4. Snow in the Desert. Snow is not just a man, he's a genetic anomaly. His body can regenerate from virtually any injury, making him effectively immortal. On a barren desert planet filled with bounty hunters and scavengers, his very biology is a prize, and everyone wants a piece of him literally. When 3 bounty hunters attack him in a bar, a mysterious woman named Harold saves his life. She later reveals her true identity, an agent for Earth's Central Intelligence. Her mission is to bring Snow back, so his regenerative abilities can be studied. But Snow, still haunted by the memory of his wife's suicide decades ago, refuses. Bares, The villain hunting Snow for profit sends a crew to ambush them. Snow and Harold survive the brutal battle, though Harold appears to be killed. In a twist, she revives herself and eliminates Barry's, revealing that she too is effectively immortal, her human consciousness fused with a synthetic body. For the first time in years, Snow finds someone who understands his isolation. The episode closes not with action, but with a rare moment of connection between two people burdened by their endless lives. Episode 5. The Tall Grass. In a detour into Lovecraftian horror, a train unexpectedly breaks down in a field of endless, whispering grass. Laird, a curious passenger, ignores warnings and steps off for smoke. What he finds among the swaying stalks is not peace, but otherworldly terror. Lights flit between the grass, strange, ghostly beacons that lure him deeper. Then come the creatures. Ghoul-like beings with glowing eyes emerge from the earth, mindless and feral. Laird runs, but the grass seems endless, a maze with no escape. At the last moment, the conductor rescues him, pulling him back onto the train. As the locomotive chugs away, the field lights up with movement, revealing just how many creatures had been stalking them. The conductor shares a theory. These beings were once humans, lost to the tall grass and transformed by whatever ancient force lies beneath. It's a classic horror tale, brief but chilling, and leaves viewers wondering what would have happened if the train hadn't stopped or started again. Episode 6. All Through the House. Christmas stories are rarely this grotesque. Leah and Billy are typical children on Christmas Eve, peeking downstairs to catch a glimpse of Santa Claus. But what they find isn't a jolly old man, it's a monstrous creature, hunched and wheezing, with gnarled limbs and a slimy red tongue. The horror builds as the monster notices them. It sniffs, growls, and then, in a shocking twist, declares both children good. Instead of devouring them, it regurgitates presents and slithers up the chimney. Lying in bed, Leah and Billy wonder aloud, what if they had been bad? It's a brief episode, but one that leaves a lasting impression, a clever twist on holiday mythology that combines horror and humor in the best love, death, and robots fashion. Episode 7. Life Hutch. In the vacuum of space, survival is anything but guaranteed. Terrence, a pilot engaged in an interstellar dogfight, crash lands on a desolate planet after being struck by debris. Injured and alone, he stumbles upon a Life Hutch prefabricated survival shelter. Relief turns to terror when the shelter's maintenance robot malfunctions, interpreting any movement as a threat. With shattered fingers and dwindling strength, Terrence is trapped in a deadly game of cat and mouse. Using his flashlight, he tricks the robot into attacking its own reflection. In a satisfying moment of ingenuity, he survives not by force, but by outsmarting the machine. It's a taut, minimalistic episode about grit and problem-solving, anchored by a claustrophobic atmosphere and raw tension. Episode 8. The Drowned Giant. The season ends on a somber, philosophical note. A titanic corpse washes up on the shore of a quiet town. Towering and human in form, the giant becomes an object of fascination. At first, scientists study it. People gather to marvel at its enormity. But curiosity soon gives way to vandalism, then to apathy. Stephen, an academic, watches it all unfold, documenting the gradual erosion of wonder. The giant's body is desecrated, its dignity stripped away piece by piece. Eventually, it disappears entirely, its remains repurposed, its myth forgotten. But Stephen remembers. For him, the giant represents something profound, a mirror to our own fleeting reverence for the extraordinary. In the end, it's not the giant that's tragic, but the people who so easily forget. Love, Death and Robots season may second be shorter than its predecessor, but it wastes no time diving deep into questions about mortality, technology, and what it means to be human. From satire to sci-fi, horror to heartbreak, this season delivers stories that linger long after the credits roll. Which episode left the biggest impact on you?